Avalon Hill has made its name in producing popular boxed games for many years under the Monarch label. Now that the computer game market provides a method of playing these games without all of the counters and calculations, Avalon Hill is transforming their classic board games to the computer. Having worked previously with Stanley Associates on Fifth Fleet, the two companies are getting back together for Wooden Ships and Iron Men, a game of combat on the high seas. Wooden Ships and Iron Men, a turn-based strategy game, will be a straightforward translation of the original board version with very few modifications for the PC. The player is in command of wooden battleships in different historical battles, including the War of 1812, the Revolutionary War, and more. But if that's not enough, it will also come with the same scenario editor the designers are using for the prepackaged scenarios. All the different ship classes which took part in these battles will be represented, including French, English, Spanish, and American warships. The original board game was laid out in a hex-style format, but the designers of the PC translation did away with all of that, opting instead for an open combat area that isn't restricted by hexes and spaces. The ships can now move freely around the water, tracked by the computer to the nearest yard. Most all of the changes from the original board game are in the area of graphic representation in order to take advantage of a computer's capabilities. Wooden ships will, in addition to the traditional overhead view, provide an isometric style of view, providing more of a three-dimensional feel. Gameplay animations have been added to show things like cannons firing and boarding parties crossing over to enemy ships. Gameplay occurs in turns, with each turn representing 3 minutes of real time. Orders are given by each side for the upcoming turn, then the turn is executed by the computer according to the orders given. Once the turn begins, the player sits back and watches the action, with the only possible input being to order a ship to fire immediately instead of waiting for the pre-programmed order to fire. The type of ammo that is used, like grape shot or cannonballs, is user-assignable, as are the boarding parties. And when entering combat, the player also has control over which part of the enemy ship to fire at, and at what distance to open fire. Boarding parties are handled a little more abstractly, though. The player simply assigns men to boarding parties, and when ships are close enough to board, the boarding party attacks. The computer handles all the combat at this point, basing the outcome on the size and competence of the crews. All of the computer-controlled forces in Wooden Ships and Iron Men are accurately modeled in specifications and performance from the historical forces. So when a French force comes at you, they're more likely to try to keep their distance and shoot at your sails, while an English ship is more likely to get closer in. For human competition, 2 players will be able to play through email, but currently there are no network or modem capabilities included in the game. For those folks familiar with Wooden Ships and Iron Men as a board game, the PC version should provide the same gaming experience which made the original popular, while getting rid of the pencil and paper troubles that come with in-depth board games. For players new to the game, Wooden Ships and Iron Men is a game on a subject that has been widely ignored by the computer gaming market. Expect it in November.